The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 3, titled The Path. Now, this episode is an interesting one because last week we experienced Battle of the Bastards and the Wet Wedding in one episode. And this week is the Penny Cleanser. This episode is set 3 months after the events of last week's episode, and it's all about our characters trying to move on. Or maybe trying not to move on. Jackson is trying to move on. You know, they bury about a good 100 people from that invasion of affected. About 100 people. And they're rebuilding their fences, rebuilding their appliances, to make Jackson a safer environment. Meanwhile, Ellie is on this path of vengeance. And she knows, because of Dina, she knows where they are. That they're in Seattle. That she knows what the logo looks like. She knows the name of these people. She knows that Abby's the one who actually killed Joel. It's, and because of it, it makes Ellie on this path of vengeance more and more and more. And I like the idea how she's treating, how terminated, how drawn she is on getting revenge, because Ellie isn't going psychopathic with it. She's just like, here's a gun, here's another gun, a gun in a bag, just applying, just adding supplies and equipment that she's going to use to wire onto a horse to Seattle, without even thinking about where to go, or maybe she does need someone to tag along with. That in this case would be Dina. Because nothing will stop her. Once again, the circle of violence, the theme of The Last of Us Part 2, the circle of violence. Because it doesn't matter if Tommy says don't do it, or the entire town Jackson says don't do it, because they will say, hey, look, we also lost 100 people as well. Joel wasn't the only one who died on that day. So you got that aspect of things. So basically, the whole town Jackson says no. We're not going to send our men to hunt down the people who killed Joel. But Ellie doesn't care. Terminated, that's what she wants. She wants those guys, wants Abby and her crew dead. And you can feel that, like, hey, this is what's going to happen. This is no ifs, no buts, no point arguing about it. It is what's going to happen. Then, which makes us on the path of leading to next week's episode, which will be more, it won't be the Penny Cleanser, that's for sure, because the next number of weeks is just going to be brutal. The next couple of weeks is going to be just nothing but brutality. You're going to see Ellie doing really horrible and despicable things. Makes you start questioning her, thinking about, oh my god, she's meant to be our main character, I'm meant to wait for her. It makes you question even how much you care about Ellie and how much you are drawn towards her story. It makes you question a lot. It makes you question it. The other thing I would say, there's a couple of scenes I do like. There's a couple of scenes I do like. I love how you show there's how the characterization in this episode with Steph, who was the bigger the guy from episode 1 who had a problem seeing Ellie and Dina having a kiss. How it's a family event, that guy. And showing that he cares about Ellie. He cares about Joel. It's just he has some views that are very, very backwards. Some views are pretty backwards. Because he's the one who stands up for Ellie at the town hall. He's the one who's like, here's a horse and here's a better gun. So it shows the how complex humans can be, how complex people can be. Now, what I also like is the scene between Dina and Ellie in the tent, because because that moment gives you a sense of bondness. Because these two are, spoiler, are going to be an item. So clearly, what's going to be is these two characters. You could feel the electricity. You can feel the chemistry happening, and you can feel the banter that these two characters are having. Wow, and I couldn't help, like, anytime Dina talked and Ellie's the one who switched off the light. I'm like, God damn, let Ellie sleep, Dina. But but yeah, this is a decent episode. It's a good episode. It's a good episode of television. Nothing special. Nothing to whine out the house with, and nothing to go, oh my god, over. But from the preview on next week's episode, whoo, shit is going to go down. That's for sure.